Hey guys, this is help with the Unit 31 Reading Comprehension Quiz. So first, let's talk about where to find the quiz. It is in Lesson 4, and you'll see, just like all the other ones, that there is a reading passage right before the quiz. Make sure that you click on that reading passage because it's the same passage as the reading quiz, except the passage gives you some definitions of words you don't know where the actual quiz does not. So you will see that they're underlined, like you see over here on the right. This is the passage. This is what it looks like. Any word that's underlined here, you can click on, and it will tell you what it means in English. So this one, destacado, is distinguished, not a word we've learned yet, and one you would want to know to understand the rest of this passage. Okay, and you'll see there's a couple of other words underlined as well, so be sure to click on those and go ahead and read through the passage before you get to the actual comprehension quiz. Okay, once you have done that, here are some other tips. So again, before you take the quiz, number 2 there says make sure that you have done the reading task, the passage I just showed you. And then number 1, I also suggest reviewing your vocabulary since this quiz is going to test that vocabulary in context. Okay, so take a look back at your vocabulary list. Hopefully you printed it out when you got to lesson 1, so you can just kind of review that. And have it in mind as you're looking at that first passage. And then also when you look at that first passage, click on those underlined words to know what they mean and understand that passage. Once you've got that down, as you take the quiz, I have some tips over in this orange box. Be sure to identify words you know to try to make sense of the sentence. So once you see, oh yeah, I know the word jugador means player, then you can kind of make sense of the rest of the sentence. Second, look for cognates. Okay, so they may have some words in there that we haven't learned before, have not been on a vocabulary list, but they're words that are similar to English that you can understand without somebody saying, oh yeah, this word means whatever it means, okay? Third, use your context clues to figure out what is being said in the paragraph as a whole. And then last, look at the passage for keywords as you answer the questions. So whatever's being asked in the question, there may be similar words in the actual passage to help you answer that question. Okay, so here is that vocabulary list I was saying you should have printed out and look over before you take this quiz. So remember, this is the sports words. We have the actual sport, some equipment, and some verbs. Okay, so most of your verbs are over there on the right side, it looks like. So review that so you can understand, again, the context of the passage. Okay, so we're going to do a little practice reading here, and I have chosen a passage that is about sports. So go ahead and pause the video if you will, and take a second and look through this passage. Okay, and once you're ready, go ahead and hit play again. I'm going to keep going. So as you're looking, you will want to ask yourself, do you see any vocabulary words? So let's take a look. Okay, on our current list, we have football, we have esquí, we have deportes. Deportes are sports. That's the name of our whole list. Still in the top there, fútbol americano, baloncesto, and then deportes just comes up several times. And then we can ask ourselves, do we see any cognates or other words that we just already know? We know hola, we know qué tal, we know es, we know muy, interesante, we know España, etc. So lots of words here that you guys know. We haven't necessarily had the word popular, which means popular, but you could tell by looking at the word that it means popular. Another cognate we have here is el ciclismo. Ciclismo kind of sounds like cycling, and that's what it means. So cycle, cicle, ciclismo here, okay? We see some names in here as well, so take note of what the names are. We have Victor, that's who we're writing to. We have Melissa as the writer. And then they have a couple of people in the middle too. We have Lance Armstrong, and then we have Miguel Indurain. Okay, so take note as you see like proper nouns, what are we talking about? We've also got some places here. Estados Unidos, we know that means United States. España, we know means Spain. So we're talking about clearly sports. We've got a couple of professional athletes that they're discussing, and we know that Melissa is writing to Victor. So now that we've kind of established that, you'll want to look to see, okay, what are we talking about? Why are we talking about these sports? Why are we talking about these particular athletes? Okay, so if we go back to the beginning, es muy interesante que España tiene tantos deportes populares como el fútbol y el esquí. So it's very interesting that Spain has so many popular sports like soccer and skiing. And then we flip it to los Estados Unidos. In the United States, tenemos muchos deportes populares también. We have many popular sports here too. And then they mentioned fútbol americano y el baloncesto. So we know that those are football and basketball. And then they keep talking here. También, como en España, nosotros tenemos el ciclismo. So that's where we get to the cycling here. Okay, so no es un deporte tan popular. So tan means like as popular, tan como. So cycling is not as popular as football, for example, is that next sentence. And then they start talking about two famous cyclists, so Lance Armstrong from the U.S. and then Miguel from Spain, okay? And then at the end, she makes that comparison, los deportes de los Estados Unidos y de España no son muy diferentes. The sports in the United States and in Spain are not that different, okay? ¿Qué piensas tú? What do you think? And then she signs off on her letter. So clearly it's a passage about sports and the difference between sports, just comparing sports that are popular in Spain and the United States, and then mentioning two different pro athletes from both countries, okay, that are cyclists. So that's basically what's going on there. Now, even though you didn't know every single word there, from the vocabulary you do know, you could figure out what's going on as I just went over it with you. Okay, so then remember that we're going to have true and false questions for the most part on our little quizzes and things. So an example might be true or false. Cycling is just as popular as football in the United States. So we would want to find that sentence again, which you'll see in the middle. También como en España, nosotros tenemos el ciclismo, pero no es un deporte tan popular como el fútbol americano. Okay, so no es, it is not as popular as football. Okay, so in that case, we would say false. Okay. Just to give you some other examples of questions, sometimes we have open-ended questions. So what are some popular sports in Spain? We could go back and look at that very first part where they talk about some of the popular sports, como el fútbol y el esquí there at the end of the second sentence. Those would be two. That would be perfect. We've also got ciclismo that we mentioned further down. So any of those would be good answers. Okay, and then who are the two cyclists Melissa mentions in her letter? Where is each from? So again, that's why I say note when you see proper nouns, when you see people's names, try to figure out who they are so you understand the context of the reading a little better. So we know Lance Armstrong, Miguel Indurain are the two that she talks about. And then, of course, Lance is from the United States, los Estados Unidos, and then Miguel is from España, which is Spain. Okay, so that's just a little practice article or letter there. So it's not like the exact same passage that you're working with, but it's just a reading passage to help you review the sports vocabulary and some of your reading and comprehension strategies. So just a few last words of advice. Just breathe. You can do this. Read through the passage to get the gist of what's going on. Make sure to take your time. There's no need to rush. And then check your answers by rereading the passage. So if you have any further questions, be sure to reach out to your teacher. But I know that you will do well with these tips. So buena suerte. Good luck.